Good morning. It's Tuesday, January 2nd, 2024. Happy New Year to you once again. Peace is a part of the prosperity of a nation. Let peace reign. On the news this morning, Governor Fubara reacts to resignation of Rivers lawmaker Ehe Edison. Teachers in Rivers State speak of their 2024 expectations in education sector. APC responds to critics of President Tinubu's New Year Day broadcast. And on the foreign scene, Israel says war in Gaza expected to continue throughout 2024. I am Ifechukwumoyili with the news. The Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara says the resignation of Ehe Edison as Speaker is an indication of how far he can go to achieve peace in the state. Governor Fubara said this at the 2024 New Year State Banquet held at the Government House yesterday. The governor also assured that he will not be involved in dirty fight with anyone.
I'm appealing to everyone. Let us embrace peace. We need this peace because our intention for our state is not because of our own personal interests. It's for the interests of everyone, the interests of the development of our state. So when we are faced with this type of situation, we consider the actions and reactions. Who is going to suffer? Fubara will not suffer. I can assure you that. But 1 million supporters will suffer.
Governor Fubara said his decision to obey the 8-point resolution is not out of fear, but out of respect for elders. He said the state banquet is an indication that his government is alive.
So our New Year message to our dear state, and more especially, this is our first inaugural banquet to show that the government is alive. I want to leave you with only this message. We will not disappoint you. We also will not be involved in any dirty fighting because we know that we are going to be the losers. Therefore, whatever it will take, as seen in our decisions. Yesterday, a lot of you were worried. Why would the speaker? It should tell you what we can do for peace.
On the spot, the secretary to the state government, Tami Danagogo, said the governor has remained focused on fulfilling his promises despite the distractions. Correspondent Toyin Kachunwosu reports that those who attended the event include the deputy governor, the chief of staff, Chibuzo Amadi, former governor Peter Odili, and wife, retired Justice Mary Odili, chairman of the State Traditional Rulers Council, Sergeant Awuse, other traditional rulers, some serving, and former lawmakers, among many others. Meanwhile, a constitutional lawyer, Richard Nwokocha, says the resignation of Edison Ehe as member of the Rivers State House of Assembly does not change the legal status quo of the House. Professor Nwokocha, a lecturer at the Department of Public Law, Rivers State University, tells correspondent Emekochaka that Mr. Edison's resignation leaves the House with only 3 valid members and does not confer legitimacy on the 27 lawmakers who have defected to the APC. He said it is the responsibility of the remaining 3 members of the House to pick a new leader whenever they meet, as provided in the Constitution.
Legally, it's now a 3-member House with 28 people having resigned. It will be their responsibility to pick a leadership when they meet, because the Constitution says presiding officer shall be the Speaker or the Deputy Speaker in his absence, or in the absence of both, any member chosen by the House. But apparently it leads to the direction that they are trying to foist the illegality on the state. That will raise question too of validity of any action that House takes if those people who have defected sit in it.
Professor Nwokocha also said that his resignation may set the stage for foisting the unconstitutionality in the illegal resolution reached on the state.
The first thing that comes to mind is that following the illegal resolution reached, his resignation as Speaker will be necessary for that illegality to be foisted on the state.
In the same vein, a human rights advocate, Charles Jaja, says the resignation of Edison Ehe as a member representing Ahota East in the River State House of Assembly will make Governor Siminalayi Fubara vulnerable to those who do not mean well for the state. Mr. Jaja, in an interview, said young people in the state were hoping to see Mr. Edison stay longer in the House to fight against godfatherism in the state.
If Dr. Edison was sacrificed just to appease the interest of a single man as against the interest of the state from the so-called peace pact agreement that was reached, which the governor said he was going to implement, then it is too bad, and it also means that the struggle of the young man and the support of the people of the state was taken for granted by the governor. And I think that the governor should realize that he is the governor of the state. He should defend the state. After all, President Tinubu, who was then governor of Lagos State, stood against advances of President Olusegun Obasanjo, and heaven did not fall.
On the SDP governorship candidate in the 2023 election in River State, Magnus Abe has announced his decision to dump the party for the APC. He made this known yesterday. In the meantime, his Accord counterpart, Dumo Lulu Briggs, has withdrawn his appeal at the Supreme Court against the Independent National Electoral Commission, the PDP, and Governor Fubara. In his New Year message, he said it is his contribution to reducing tension in an overheated Rivers polity. A lawyer, Anointed Overcomer, is advocating for the judiciary to prioritize its judgment to reignite hope among ordinary citizens. Mr. Overcomer, while speaking on the performance of the judiciary in 2023 and expectations for 2024, called for unbiased judgment, especially in electoral cases, as opposed to the perceived selective rulings of the past year.
Judiciary from the tribunal to the last appeals court, if it's the one that should reach appeals court, there should be holistic looking into everything that was presented and not to be sectional. This time, it should be done the right way. Holistic looking into every area, and also not to hinge judgment of one particular party. Our judiciary really has been compromised so much in all the past years. I am thinking and asking that from the upper court down to the lowest, they should change and know that this is a hope of the common man.
Mr. Overcomer also called for judicial independence, stressing the need for the judiciary to manage its affairs.
Different people are complaining that the judiciary is no more hope of the common man. But it's not supposed to be so. Judiciary should stand on its ground and be totally independent. And again, I want to say the National Assembly has to do something, because they are the people to do the same. To promulgate a law that will make it effective.
In other news, banks and public offices were reopened this morning after they closed yesterday to observe the public holiday declared to mark the New Year Day celebration. Schools are expected to reopen next week. Still to come, APC responds to critics of President Tinubu's New Year Day broadcast. Stay with us. increase funding for education in the state. Chairman of the union, Collins Echibu, who made the call while speaking on teachers' expectations for the new year, tells correspondent Martha Okerenkem that principals and head teachers should be funded to effectively run their schools. He also called for more teachers, saying many have retired.
The government should go more public in funding education. The school heads should be keeping something that they will use in running the schools. A kind of overhead cost. I need 15,000 teachers. 5,000 goes to senior secondary school and 10,000 goes to junior secondary and primary school. The classrooms are empty. The ones that are already there now are almost going every day.
Mr. Echibu also appealed to Governor Milai Fubara to implement the 65-year retirement age for teachers.
We want the government to give teachers of Rivers State the new retirement age that was signed into law by Muhammad Buhari in April 2022. Other states have done it, but Rivers State have not been able to do it. We are pleading with him. The new retirement age is 40 years for service, 65 years for age. We are pleading with him to use his godly mind and give us this retirement age.
The NUT chairman, however, thanked the state governor for promoting teachers in the state. In other news, PDP's National Publicity Secretary, Debo Ologunwawa, has described President Tinubu's New Year Day broadcast as uninspiring and a waste of valuable time. In a statement, he said it did not address any of the critical issues plaguing the nation. Similarly, the Labour Party National Publicity Secretary, Obiora Ifo, accused the president of dishonesty in his address to Nigerians. In a statement, he described the president's New Year Day speech as an arrogant display of dishonesty, disregard for citizens. Reacting to this, the APC Director of Publicity, Bala Ibrahim, insisted that President Tinubu deserves commendations for setting up the federal government appointees monitoring and evaluation unit in the presidency to monitor the performance of officials. He said the statement from the PDP and Labour Party should be disregarded, adding that it's even an attack on the intelligence of Nigerians to say that the president's speech is empty.
And now, bring news from around the world.
The Israeli military has said it expects the conflict in Gaza to continue throughout 2024. In a New Year's message, the Israel Defense Forces spokesman said troops deployment are being adjusted to prepare for prolonged fighting. That's a wrap on the news this morning. Before we go, let's have a look at the major stories. Governor Fubara has reacted to the resignation of Rivers lawmakers Ehe Edison. The APC has taken a swipe at the critics of President Tinubu's New Year Day broadcast. And on the foreign scene, Israel says war in Gaza expected to continue throughout 2024. The news was edited by Chioma Ezenwafo. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808-721-7215. I'm Ifechukwu Moyili. Many thanks for listening and Happy New Year.